Hello everyone and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. I haven't messed it up yet, I don't think. But anyway, there's been a murder, we're trying to solve it. In typical Ace Attorney fashion in the first chapter, we already know who did it. We just have to figure out how and why and get him to confess, basically. So it's 5 in the morning and we're in our office. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letter, sir. All right, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. I don't remember what his voice was. It's new recording session. Everyone gets a new voice. Okay, looking good. You there, take care of this. Bro, what? What? Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We got you now. Call off your dog, Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay, if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job? I can see right through your unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there's always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Wait, what am I doing? It really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know. Are you done trying to play mind games with me? Because they won't work. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you've yet to prove anything. Showdown! So are there... alright, I guess we'll just find out. I'd rather be surprised. I'm like, are there trials in this? I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. No. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're a stubborn one. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusation on. With evidence. Alright, so I've got to present something. Press. We'll press things first. My accusation is a harebrained idea, is it? You tell me. I'd say it is, after all. Yeah. Oh, what, pray tell, kind of evidence are we talking about here? Yeah, that stuck out to me. Jim was my partner, so you can't say I had a motive for killing him. That's not a mountain of evidence. And that's it. It's not even an anthill, let alone a mountain. But it's more than enough, wouldn't you agree? I'd recommend that you review that word, what the word evidence means. It doesn't change the fact that the evidence doesn't point to me as the killer. Press that, but I think we're going to have to present something there. Unfortunately, I believe I have already shown how earlier. Your speculations mean nothing, as I still insist that I could not gain access to your room. What should I do now? Should I raise an objection? Yes. You claim to have had no way to open my door. However, is that really the honest truth? Alright, I'll humor you. Go ahead, shoot. Very well then, I propose that you use this to open my door. Well, it's really only one thing it can be. Right? Oh, this has a microphone. I want to see. Does this work? Take that! It didn't work. Hello, Master Key? Perfect. First try. I believe you're able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. Uh-oh. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key. Poor Maggie. You had asked Miss Bird to open your office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know. But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet what if you misled her, to fool her into thinking what you wanted? How do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine. What was it that Mr. Portsman used to make Miss Bird think that it was his room? Do I have the basketball hoop? Take that! Hey, it worked that time. I'm not going to do that every time. What, the basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building, which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's. There's signs that the hoop has been moved to sit it in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Conjecture Rebuttal? Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. Moving on. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one who truly covered in slime here. Conjecture's Rebuttal. Okay. Nonsense, you say? Yes, because I'm telling the truth here. Okay. I'm using the master key, of course. Sure, you have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort for people like you. I like it. I feel like that's false, and I don't remember why. And what were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from start to finish? Mainly batting practice and some weights. Oh, and I jog when I get a chance. Wow, you must be the buffest prosecutor we have. With the weakest legal muscle, it would seem. I was doing my usual workout, so... I think I've given you quite a few reasons, actually. But none of those would stand up on their own. Then what about all the evidence? It's all circumstantial. No judge would convict on such flimsy evidence. Seems to be trembling a little. One more little push. All I have to do is find the flaw in his testimony. Now you're just spouting nonsense. Nonsense, you say? Alright, what do I present? What evidence do we have? Prosecutor's badge. Proof of my profession, however, I prefer to keep it in my pocket. Bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen. Body was found at 2:05. Victim's revolver. Only one shot fired. Each prosecutor has one. Pages pertaining to a case tried 10 years ago by my predecessor are missing. Miss Bird says she unlocked this door, but her prints were not found on the doorknob. Wait, what? What does this say? I don't remember. Oh! Oh, Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm back. Sorry. You were not. I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I probably could have saved myself some time. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How is that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you, and what were you doing? Ah! Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you. That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open up your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way. This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open up the door for you. Oh! Because her fingerprints were not on there. Okay. Oof. I was like, wait a second. I know what they were getting at, but I thought it was going to be her fingerprints on our door, but that's better. I had your door dusted for prints. My door? What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right. I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she was really the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Ugh. Further, all the prints on my office door's knob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your little charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me, and Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. I am kind of confused as to why he didn't just shoot Edgeworth too. Although I guess like the more murders that he commits, then like the harder it gets to cover up. As I said, when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Oh, we're at the breakdown. And just what's so funny, pal? Well, look, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down as well. I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch the doorknob that you had touched, which is why I wiped the door... Why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there. No, it doesn't. You just made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it before I arrived at the office. But then you would have picked it up. None of that makes sense. Alright, whatever. Like early in the evening, for example. But then when you went to your office, you would have picked it up. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. No, that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. But you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only realized that I had one just now as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I just told you sooner. Alright, here we go. Portsman, your alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. I'll be right back. Boy, I don't like this. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m. You see? All the evidence points to him being the culprit, so there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Okay. You're correct, it was around 2 a.m. You sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Oh, come now, I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? Beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh, well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. So you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit. Yup, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Well, we did go around and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said they saw you at around that time. See, I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Ugh. Impossible, he actually does have the perfect alibi. Ew, what's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? Heh, I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir, wait. Wait, I'm not done. I'm not done with you. Please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Wait. Maggie. Detective Gumshoe. Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that I could... Wait, did I mess something up? The intruder I met could not have been Portsman, then who could it have been? Oh, I got logic. Okay. I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Okay. I want to say it's these two. There were 2 bullets left at the scene. Yeah, I want to know more about this. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Alright, I feel like that actually moves us farther away. Files in disarray and another visitor is all I have left. Alright, let's hope that's a thing. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back... Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth! Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But, sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean, 2? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just as he was about to look somewhere else... Who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area, but that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then... he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. Yeah. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there is yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There is another visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so... they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen 0 file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shells getting messed up twice and the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing these things at 2 different times. Precisely now. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief and was not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. I feel like sometimes the text is very slow. Suppose if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there's still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir. But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Alright, well, we'll go through this. If it goes much longer, we might split this up. The thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down in criminal affairs. No. What? No. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. Nope. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be wasting time on dead-end discussion. I cannot read today. I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Sometimes I wish there was a way to make a solid color behind the text, because it gets a little hard to read when it gets like mixed into the background. That'd be a nice option to have. No, wait, where did I... I'm gonna go back and press everything. I don't know what, like, the text is also moving very slow too. Actually, no, I wouldn't. No, why not? It's elementary, the dying message, of course. Mr. Faith's killer very clearly left the letters on the spines of those files, and it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them. You mean those files, right? That's how we also know the letters themselves were set up and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? There we go. Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either? Yeah, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. Once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Oh, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. It's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all. But according to Mr. Faith's note... No, hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left a note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it at a different time, just say just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. You see, so I insist again, I was in my office the entire time. Alright, this is the one that I was most suspicious of. I think we have evidence for this. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway, he likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what are the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case, just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. I'm gonna press that. A gun and a pendant. Yes, this gun, which was the murder weapon. And this pendant, which belonged to the victim. And why were you taking them to criminal affairs? There's something in a past case file I wanted to compare these two. But all this is nothing to do with this case right now. Anyway, I believe you'll find the long paper trail I left to your satisfaction. This is all matching up with what Detective Gumshoe found out. Alright, I'm gonna go back. Alright, let's press everything first. Can't expect you to know, can I? Nope, but I guess you can expect me to take a guess based on logical deductions. Oh, then let's see you deduce. Jim waited for me to leave and then stole the master key, for the purpose of sneaking into your room, of course. And that's when Miss Bird caught him red-handed and the murder occurred. It's all exactly as he laid out earlier. I know he's lying, I know he was there at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Wait. Ooh! Ooh! We found the lie! Okay. I thought I was thinking it had to do with the timing of the note, but that ended up not being it. Only two pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? It's... You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. But don't come any closer, I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pal. Oh, this is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would you hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber, because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Yup. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Ooh. Oh! Found it! That's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No! No! You've got it all wrong! No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. I'm... here we go. Here's the freak out. Did he? Oh my god. He just ate it. He's probably dead now. Was that a vial of poison in there? it's the last episode of the week. We'll see how this plays out. We'll go a little bit longer. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the result we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. So are there no trials? I'm fine. Like, that was still fun. I was just kind of surprised that we're not about to go prosecute him. I thought that's where this was going. Here's nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Oh, it was nothing, really, compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of his evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Oh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near the topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain it was to steal something. That's just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It'd seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Oh, this is going to be an ongoing thing. I love it. Huh? That Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? Yeah, he's a bad guy. I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. Oh, I'm so excited. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of evidence. Oh, the files. Why were they taken? The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was. And what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Now it's even weirder that they didn't just shoot him. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? Oop. It's not just any bird. It's the mark of the raven. Yes, the three-legged raven. This is... I don't even know what that means. I'm just like, oh, we have a criminal organization. I am so excited. Even you should know what this is, Detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? The great thief everyone's talking about? Yes, it is the mark of the great thief, Yadagara... Oh my god. Guys, this is the worst. Why? Why? I can't do it. Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yadagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Okay. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yadagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Although we don't know much about the thief's ultimate goals, we do know the targets. The Yadagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. Oh, the theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yadagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. So, the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yadagarasu, huh? Yadagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. Oop, I missed text. The return of the great thief, Yadagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Why can't I not speed up the text either? That's weird. I don't remember having that problem before. The end. Okay, cool. Sorry, this went a lot longer than I expected. Turnabout Airlines. Okay. Anyway, I'm excited. Now I kind of know what this game's about and how it's going to play out. I'm really excited to see more of this. I do really like the investigation part. Obviously, Ace Attorney investigations. But I do kind of like that focus. With just enough, of the back and forth. Not what to call it, like questioning aspect of it. I don't know where my thoughts are. We're 40 minutes in. My brain is gone. But yeah, like getting to present evidence and all that stuff is just enough of a break to keep things fresh and interesting. And I'm really enjoying it. I hope you guys are looking forward to the rest of this. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.